Hey guys, what's up? It's Matt. Episode 28 of the RYLA Routine. Change does start with you. Jenna, what's up? How are you?
Good.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So before we get rolling, you do have one of my most favorite RYLA t-shirts on. I only own one purple shirt. The shirt I'm wearing today actually has a picture of myself on it. Um, Inside joke there for the baseball world, but this isn't baseball. This is RYLA, and change does start with you. From Mount Vernon, Missouri.
Yes.
How big's Mount Vernon?
Very small. I'd say it's about a little under 5,000.
Okay. And Mount Vernon's always had a history of sending great campers. A lot of leadership staff have come back through Mount Vernon as well. And I know that's how yourself and myself actually get to know each other a little better is by you being a CIT here back in October. Um, and so you come to camp in March of 23. How
Yes.
did that come about? How'd you hear about camp?
Yeah. So my uncle is actually part of Rotary, and I joined Interact my freshman year of high school. And I was very involved both in just the regular Rotary with the town because of my uncle, and then Interact with the school. Kind of blended. And so Marsha really liked me because Marsha likes everyone, and invited me because my cousin actually went quite a few years ago, I think 2012.
Okay.
Um, and they thought I would be a really good fit with my leadership skills, but also my personality.
Awesome. Tell me about your Interact club. So now you had 4 years of Interact. Then what are some pretty cool stuff? Like I talked about Interact a couple times with people on the RYLA routine. What are some things in Interact that your club has done? I know Brett's like me and him talked about the importance of Interact, but like when it comes to being a participant of Interact, tell me about some things that you guys had did when you were there in high school in Mount Vernon that club projects, things like that.
Yeah, so um let's see. I kind of okay, I don't know how to say this nicely, but our Interact kind of struggled due to our sponsorship of the high
Sure.
school. And so when I joined, I was kind of the messenger. And
Okay.
so my grade really tried to use our communication skills with our Interact. And so unfortunately, my time in the high school, we didn't have a big project, so to say. We were really focused on um, getting, let's see, like promoting community events.
Okay.
So our we have a big festival in the fall called Apple Butter Making Days. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I
Um,
haven't, but apple butter sounds like something that'd be really, really tasteful. So,
yes, it brings about I think like 60,000 people
oh
into just
wow,
our town. And so one of the biggest things to raise money for our Rotary Club, the community one, is having kids just come out and help dedicate an hour of their time, just doing serving our community. And we also let's see. We also have a car show that we help run in May that just happened. And then I think one of our biggest accomplishments is Emma Toby actually just won the district award for the four-way speech contest.
awesome. Yeah, that was a couple weeks back at district conference. I
Yeah,
know I did see somebody from Mount Vernon was there. So that's awesome. Well, tell me,
yeah,
you talked about your uncle being in Rotary.
yeah.
So you had a connection with Rotary before coming to RYLA. Some people don't. They don't know anything about what we are, who we do. When it comes to being there in Mount Vernon, did you ever go to club meetings or like help out with projects with the club?
Um, yeah. So I would occasionally be a guest with my uncle. It wasn't a lot just because I was younger and, the Rotary way and everything. So I would attend and hear all the different organizations that we have near us and participate in questions and just listening to how we can improve our community. And some of the ways that we are doing that this year is because I'm actually became a Rotarian this year myself. And because my
Awesome.
uncle,
So So if
me.
anybody's listening to this, I know there's all these people that think I'm crazy. We're like, no, like you can't have young people in Rotary because no, that's not true. Young people are joining Rotary every day, and fortunately
Exactly.
for us, they're some are hearing about it through RYLA for the first time.
Yep.
And obviously, when you have a choice, you're probably going to join somewhere where you have one a common theme, commonality with people, but also you got family there, so that kind of
Yep.
influence. Like you can't, they're not going to let you go serve somewhere else. So good job to Uncle
Exactly.
for making sure and pulling you in early.
Yes. And a lot of it is like my pastor's there, and so it's a bunch of people that I already know because it's a small town. But they pulled me in, and we've been doing things like street cleanups, and we've been doing pop-up produce, which is in partnership with the Convoy of Hope. We have, I think, 200 boxes each month come, and we hand those out,
That's
just
awesome.
like that.
That's awesome. So you get engaged and interact. You got a cousin that goes to RYLA at some point. You get picked to go to RYLA. You show up. What do you think?
So Mari and I had no clue what we were doing because we had no previous connections besides my cousin, who I didn't really talk about it with. We had no idea what it was. We were told that it's a camp for leaders and that we were perfect for it and that we're going to have fun. That's what we were told.
Okay,
And
so
so,
we'll make it simple. Did you have fun?
yes,
Okay. Are you a leader?
yes,
Yeah,
I
so they
think
didn't
so.
lie to you. They didn't lie to
They
you then,
didn't
right?
lie to
So
me.
they 100% of what you were told was true.
It's true, but in like such a bigger aspect that nobody could prepare you for. It was crazy.
So tell me more about that. Tell me about your camper year. Tell me some highs, tell me some lows, tell me some pauses where you go, "Oh my gosh, I don't know if this is right, wrong, if I'm in the, because you and Mari get in the car and you get to get there, and then guess what? Good luck. You're no longer together."
Yeah, we thought we would be together, but that didn't happen, which I think is for the best because we had our own experiences. But first thing I would like to say is that we were very scared going through that tunnel. Everyone always is. But the thing is that Marsha asked us to go through it a second time just so that she could get a picture, and we told her no. We told her no. We were like, you should have done that first. But I was very nervous. I'm very extroverted once you get to know me, but shy in the beginning because I didn't know who anyone was.
Yeah.
Um, but I would say some highs are definitely just bonding with the tribe. Um, I had some lows too. Some of the people that I bonded with left early, and that was sad. But I got to grow more with the other people, and I got to grow more with my chiefs at the time too, as they knew that I was sad, which were Kate and Martha. And so just learning how to be on my own because that was the first time that I truly was by myself.
Yeah. So had you ever been to camp of any type?
Yeah, I have been to church camp, but
Okay.
I've just been like years ago. So I this was the first camp in quite a few years.
Okay. When you look back at camp from an activity perspective, what was the activity you participated in that you feel like that was the activity that you talk about the most?
Um, let's see. So I would definitely say that I don't know if tribe time technically counts as an activity,
Sure, it does.
but I think I grew and learned so much about myself through tribe time. I would say things that I had no idea I was going to say or where I was going with it. And it was kind of crazy how um, you can just open up with people that you don't really know.
Yeah. Yeah, when you look back at camp, why why did you apply to come back as a CIT? Was there a
Uh,
moment like where you like go back and you like this felt good, this is why I wanted to come back as a CIT? Or was it, hey, I just want to hone my own skills and this is a chance?
I um, I learned so much about other people and what they were going through and things that I don't necessarily want to say devastated them, but things that they harnessed from past experiences. And the way that I saw them change just in my camper year was crazy. and I wanted to help make that change in other people, because you never know what people are struggling with, and so I saw that change, and I thought that it would be really cool if I could come back and learn how to do that as a CIT, and then take that training and motivate that into a chief position by helping that way.
How did you how did you feel about your time as a CIT? In that, did you accomplish that? Do you feel as a CIT like, I mean, it's a different role, right? So you go from
Yes.
not having the plan to getting to see the plan, and then guess what? You're the one that's supposed to execute the plan.
Yeah. It was challenging, I will say. Um, let alone how you brought us in that first day and told us that this would be way different than our camper experience. Um, I had to learn how to work with other people because I knew that I was not a sole leader. I needed to work with others. And sometimes we didn't see eye to eye or we had different ideas about things. And so we worked around that challenge within just our leadership styles, but we wanted to make sure that it was the best for our campers, and we did have some issues between campers, and I felt as though I learned a lot of problem solving skills and how to ask for help through that aspect.
Yeah. When you look at camp as a CIT, same question, but not a camper. Was there an activity where you felt like that makes camp camp? Now that you've seen the playbook and you've seen where kind of maybe a light switch kicks on for some kids.
Yep. I think my favorite part that I watched as a CIT was the mission statement section. We had a lot of people who didn't participate or who were very introverted, and they chose to take themselves out of activities. But as I was like sitting there watching them fill out their paperwork, one by one our group started to get up and go say their because it wasn't forced, it was challenged by choice. And I was really hoping that they would, but we didn't push them, and they just by themselves chose to go up there, and it was really amazing to see that growth within them.
Awesome. What um what was probably your greatest challenge as a CIT?
I would say communication. I think we all act like we're the best at it. I feel like we want to perceive as being good communicators, but if I'm being honest, communication is very hard. Like I said, especially with three people trying to lead a group of kids, it's hard to communicate with the students because you're basically the same age as them,
Yeah.
and it's hard to earn their respect, but also not be too demanding of them and make sure that they're having a good time, but also learning from what they're doing.
Okay. Okay. What you've mentioned like coming back as a CIT so it can make you help shape you and eventually come back as a chief. What so factually you've applied to come back as a chief. Tell me more about why you want to come back as a chief. Like
Yes.
what do you hope to gain? Because I had this conversation last week with the twins, and I said, like the CIT's role is to lead the campers, the chief's role is to lead the CITs. What resources and tools do you have since March? Do you feel like this gonna gives you a leg up where you can say, yeah, I can step into this chief role and be really good at it right here?
So I want to say that my experience of taking that journey into college really helped me because I um, learned a lot of how to navigate life. I'm not saying that from an aspect of that I'm way more mature than I was last year, but it's just it's different because nobody prepares you for life outside of high school. They can try as much as you want, but it's really hard. And so I feel as though when I was in RYLA, I was kind of at a weird point since I was a senior and everyone else was juniors. And I think that from a different aspect, I can see how I was a camper and then how that affected me, that just little bit of that year gap, I would say,
Sure.
affected as a camper. But I still had similarities with the kids, with the youth. And then as a CIT, I learned how to use everything that I learned, but on other people. Kind
Yeah.
of how you teach the campers, I took your teachings and everything I learned within myself, and I used those aspects within our tribe times because our chief allowed us to help lead some of those tribe times. And
Yeah.
so I like to come back as a chief, because I've been kind of training myself throughout my college years on I can how I can help other people, um, while also helping myself, if
Have
that
you
makes sense.
determined? Yeah, absolutely. Have you determined yet what you want to go to school for?
Yeah, I am going to school for accounting, but I'm not 100% sure of this path right now. But I previously told you that I am minoring in recreation, sport, and park administration because it's such a different world learning how to take activities and leadership styles and teach youth. It's so
Yeah.
much different than just paper and pen.
Yeah. Well, and guess what? A large part of, my recreation administration degree is not why RYLA's successful.
Mhm.
It's the skills and talents that people have poured into me that, when I got into the real world at the Y and places like that, where I was like, oh, okay, this is how you run a program. Oh, this is the budget. School
Exactly.
can prepare you in the project side. The project side of things is great, but like when it's real money and real people, you don't get a do-over,
Exactly.
and like a lot of things look good on paper. Um, yeah, I do, the sports management side, I do remember us having that conversation. And you got to be being fiscally responsible. I mean, if you can
Yep.
wrap that accounting piece in there, that's huge. Um, when you look at the next 60 days, right? Let's say that.
Yep.
Like what's in the next 60 days? I asked this question last week and I haven't asked a whole lot of people this, but I think it's relevant because guys and girls are getting out of school. Habits change a little bit, right? Like I was hooked up all day. Now all of a sudden, like I've got 9 hours in the middle of the day where like I may go get a job or I may not do anything with the exception of like go to be at my parents' house now all summer.
Yeah.
What what's something that you feel like if you could say, hey, in the next 60 days, if people could do this, um, we'd be a little bit better off than we were.
Like as a
Like if you could,
society.
yeah, just if people could focus on this, and we're thinking about kids that are RYLA age, like for 60 days, if they could focus on something, knowing that school's out, um, to better themselves, to better their communities, one simple thing. Like last week, it was like people should smile. Like absolutely, people should smile.
I don't know if this is very simple or not, but I would say probably building connections based on conversations. Like just having a conversation with someone can brighten somebody's day. And you never know if somebody has someone or not. And just talking to them could make a world of a difference.
Yeah, I was in Parsons, Kansas last week, and I had on my New Day shirt walking into a gas station, and this
Yeah.
lady like looked at the shirt, smiled, and said, "It is a new day." And like I just stopped and started talking to her. I'm not a person that just casually stops and talks to strangers. I'll
Mhm.
acknowledge people, like nod, open the door, like things like that.
Yeah.
Um, but you're 110% correct. I mean, that group in Parsons, I asked like the adults, like, what's one thing that concerns you about youth today? And what they said was they can't communicate with each other.
Yep.
And I said, well, tell me more, because innately they're actually communicating more from a general form of communication. They're
Mhm.
communicating more than they ever did before. It's like, well, they don't have the interpersonal face to face skills that generations before them had. And I said, I have completely understand that. So you can't say they don't communicate because they actually do communicate. They just communicate in a
True.
different method, you know.
True.
Um, and so I think the opportunity talk to people is very critical, very,
Exactly.
very critical. Um, our words in writing can be interpreted one way or the other. Um, that
Hmm.
doesn't leave a lot for interpretation. It leaves a lot for interpretation. Whereas if you and I have a conversation, even whether it be Zoom or something like that, I mean, we can still have understanding, and we can
Yeah.
also still agree and disagree at the same time, and be okay with that. Um, but yeah, I think you're 100% right. Taking time to pause and talk to people.
Hmm.
Like, that is very simple. It really is very simple. And if you don't have anybody to talk to, guess what? There's a nursing home in your community. There's a lot of places that have open doors that would love to have somebody come in and just talk.
Hmm.
You go. I say that about a nursing home. Like many, our greatest generations of people have some of the best stories that unfortunately are only up in their mind.
Yep.
And like the opportunity to sit down with a senior and have a conversation um, about something that's important to them. Um, you'd be amazed at what that does for you in telling and listening. Um, whether that be gratitude or that be, because most of those folks, a lot of folks, just nobody takes the time to pause and stop and talk to them,
Yeah.
on that side of things. So I think that's great. I think Jenna saying like we should talk to people over the next 60 days is very doable. Like we should have conversations. We should engage with each other and engage with people that we don't know at the same time. Um, I'll take that challenge. I'll take that challenge from you. So, well, as we wrap this up, so RYLA is, guess what? RYLA is officially 5 months away today. Today is Friday. So
Go.
Friday the 17th. So we're officially 5 months away from October. When this gets uploaded on Sunday, we'll be closer. But you think about 5 months from now, what gets you excited as we wrap this up? What gets you excited 5 months from now about RYLA 2024?
I am ready to, okay, drop my college life and focus on things that I can change now. And I know that that sounds, because I could do that right now, but I can change people's minds. I can help open up minds at RYLA, whereas it's more hard when you're on a quick pace day to day life.
Yeah. Well, it's the ability to have meaningful conversations
Exactly.
that have a plan. And I said this a few weeks back. Hope is not a plan. Like I can give somebody a great example. I can give somebody $5 because they say they're homeless and hope they use it for what's best intended. Or I can create a plan to help people
Yep.
that have need. That means I probably do a little research. That means I spend a little time in it versus it being transactional. It
Yeah.
becomes relational. I relate to to a solution versus I make a transaction. Like, hey, will you give 40? Will you round up to $6 on a whatever X, Y, and Z and give 49 cents to literacy? Well, yeah, but if you told me why I should give, I'd probably give more
Yeah.
versus just rounding up. You know, so
Exactly.
hope is no plan. You got to have a plan, and we definitely have that opportunity with camp being 5 months away. We're gonna get in that plan, and for the sake of conversation, CIT and chief selections are coming up. Got a lot of got the number of chaperones that we need.
Good.
That's exciting. And so really, it's just going to be an opportunity over the summer to invest in the CITs and chiefs and have some virtual calls and talk through some things. That way, we don't just show up to camp for the first time and go, oh, by the way, and that's how I've
Yeah.
done it forever. But with Zoom and things like that, there's actually no reason why we have to be that way. We can get ready without being in the same place and have some meaningful conversations about camp, and make sure everybody knows what they're getting into, and things like that. But I will say, congratulations on. I mean, you're what, 19?
Yes. I'll be turning 20 in June.
Well, congratulations on being a 19-year-old Rotarian. I am going to tout that. And you are in the Mount Vernon Club, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm touting that. That's getting blasted out Sunday everywhere. By the way, 19-year-old Rotarian in Mount Vernon. So here we go. Keep being awesome. Keep doing the things you're doing. Keep engaging with your your Rotary Club. Keep engaging at school. Keep being awesome. Keep being the leader you are, because I do believe that. Um, I believe that you have a enormous amount of opportunity ahead of you. Um, and I'm positive that what you see at camp would make you a great professional someday in the recreation and camp setting, because you've seen awesomeness and you know what awesomeness is supposed to look like, and to go from there. But I just want to say thank you to you. So 28 episodes are in, coming up on 30. I got to think who's going to be number 30. Like I said, I got a list I'm working off of. So 30 will have to be something special. I don't know what that means. It's in 2 weeks. Um, but we'll get there. So, Jenna, thank you for your time. Everybody,
Thank
hope you
you.
have an awesome weekend. Thanks for watching the RYLA Routine, and stay blessed.